Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. My name is Dr. Staci. I am so excited that you are joining us tonight. If you are a guest here tonight, thank the person that invited you. You're going to get some great information, and you're also going to hear lots of questions from people. So feel free to ask your own questions a little bit later after I share the science and technology. We'll utilize the chat to ask the questions that you have personally. But before we get started, I wanted to make sure and share with you guys that I am a doctor of integrative medicine and of functional medicine, but I am not a medical doctor. I am not your medical doctor. And so if you have any questions concerning your health, of course, as always, please check with your doctor, your healthcare provider that you seek. And the information that I'm going to be sharing with you guys tonight is just that. It is information. I am not here to claim to cure or treat or diagnose anything that's going on with you. And I'll be reiterating this many times, but when you're asking me questions, we're going to reference those questions in the symptoms that you are experiencing. So if you say, what do you recommend for ADD, or what do you recommend for Alzheimer's, or what do you recommend for diabetes, or what do you recommend for cancer? I'm not going to give you an answer. So our clinical studies that we have done, David Schmidt is the inventor and owner of this company, inventor of this technology, and he has spent the last 20 years in research. He has independent labs, doctors, and physicians all over the globe that have been doing clinical studies with people for the last 20 years. And so I'm going to reference those studies, and those studies are in relation to the systems in the body, the organs in the body, the cells in the body, and how the body functions, but not into specific diseases, those age-related diseases that you all have questions about. So don't worry. I'm sure you have a grocery list of problems. And so I'll be addressing what patches work best to help you alleviate your symptoms from whatever may be going on with you. And make sure you get with the person that invited you. Have them send you this PDF, this health tracker. If you don't have this yet, this health tracker is going to help you to be able to track your progress when using the patches, give you a baseline from where you're at right now to start with, and then also help you to be able to track that out at least the first 90 days on here, and then you can go from there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started explaining the science and tech. Then we'll jump right into questions. So if you have your questions, hang on to your questions so it doesn't get mixed up in the chat, and then I'll jump back into there in just a minute. So this is what we're talking about tonight. We are going to focus primarily on the X39 stem cell activation patch. And the reason why is because this patch is our flagship patch, meaning this is the workhorse in the product line. This is the patch that signals your body to activate, elevate, and mobilize its own stem cells, actually resetting a third of the genes back to their young, youthful, healthy state from the second you apply it. That is massive. And so that's where I'm going to focus. I will be touching on some of the other supportive patches because you guys are going to ask me questions, and I will be able to guide you with those answers through talking about the supportive patches. But we're going to focus real quick on the X39 and what it does and how it works and why this is literally the only thing in the universe that does this, okay? And it does it at the speed of the light. And it also does it without putting anything in your body. This is a non-transdermal patch. I'm sure you're familiar with transdermal patches. Nicotine, birth control, estrogen patches, pain patches. You have an issue, you put the patch on, a chemical or a substance is transferred into your body. That's a transdermal patch, right? You can go get those at CVS. So this is very different. This is non-transdermal. Non-transdermal means nothing's transferring in. So if nothing's transferring into my body, how is this causing my body to activate and mobilize and to move around and elevate my own stem cells, resetting them? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to put your hand on your chest. You're 98.6-ish degrees, right? You can feel you're emitting body heat. How do we know this? because we take our temperature and we can tell. We can sit next to somebody that's hot when you're cold and you're like, ooh, I'm going to sit next to you. I'm going to warm up, right? You can feel the heat being emitted. Or maybe you're on an airplane. You're like, this person is so hot. I need to move, because their body heat is just radiating in your area. So that's body heat. That's what this technology is working with. Or light, right? Light, the light, we emit a low level infrared light. And we know this because we can go outside right now. We're on the East Coast, or I am anyways. And if I went outside, it's dark. And if only way I can see my neighbor is by looking through night vision goggles. I can see the outline of the body, right? Or maybe if there's an animal outside, I can see it in colors, red, green, blue, yellow, orange. That's the heat or the light that our body is emitting. This technology works with that. Okay, so when you apply this patch to your body's light or heat reflects back a very specific wavelength of light back into your body from this patch. So how is that happening? What do you mean reflects back a wavelength of light? So do you see this white part right here? This white part is what David has invented. Okay, this has a crystal lattice structure inside of it, and not a crystal lattice like an amethyst I've got right here, not like that, not like a clear quartz crystal, not the same kind of crystal. Okay, so this structure is a proprietary blend of amino acids and sugars and oxygen and water that David has invented. This solution forms a lattice structure, and that's in here. And so when we apply the patch to our body's heat reflects back a very specific wavelength of light from this patch. That wavelength of light signals a peptide in your body. X39 signals GHK-Cu copper peptide. How do we know this? Clinical studies. Okay, we can see this by testing the blood in people. Studies show that this will signal GHK-Cu. It'll actually elevate GHK-Cu, which declines as you age. There's a fantastic website. Laura's going to put it in the chat for me. It is reverseagingwithghk.com. It's Dr. Lauren Picard. He has spent 50 plus years doing clinical studies with people on the benefits of increasing your own GHK-Cu. Everything from asthma and allergies to cancer. All the clinical studies are there, 50 years worth. So you can go do a little research. It has nothing to do with LifeWave, but it's where David started his research almost 15 years ago when he started doing work in the lab on figuring out X39 and how to signal the body to increase its own GHK-Cu. In turn, increasing the body's own stem cell production, the mobility of those stem cells. And so we know that you're born with an abundance of stem cells. That's why kids have boundless amounts of energy. They just go, go, go and never stop, right? They're riding their bike, fall out of a tree, fall over, whatever, they break a bone, they get up and they take off running again. They sleep at the drop of a hat. They can be in a crowded airport and they're down and they're asleep, right? 5-year-olds don't have gray hair, 10-year-olds don't have back pain, and 12-year-olds don't have heart disease. Their body's stem cells are active and mobile and working to repair and regenerate their body nonstop. Well, as you age, your body has less and less stem cells that are active. They're dormant in your body. By the time in your 30s, you've got about half those stem cells that are active. That's why you start seeing the crow's feet, the digestive issues. You walk in a room, you're like, why did I walk in that room? You walk out trying to think about it again. Your sleep quality kind of diminishes. You may start to get some aches and pains in your 30s. By the time in your 60s, you've got about 10% maybe of stem cells active in your body. And so this patch signals your body to activate, elevate, mobilize, and reset a third of your genes, and resetting those stem cells back to their young, youthful, healthy state. Those stem cells are pluripotent, which means they can go to work to do anything in your body, right? Your body knows how to heal itself. It has its own innate ability to know how to do that. It's like when you cut your finger or you break your bone. It's not the Band-Aid or the cast that heals you. It's your body. Your body heals yourself, right? And so this patch just says, hey, let's do what you did when you were a kid. Let's be young, youthful, have boundless amounts of energy. Let's sleep at the drop of a hat. Let's go, 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 go. Let's repair this body quick and let's have the most amazing life ever. And so you put this on, you actually put it on in the morning. So you would do the back of your neck, CV7, or below your belly button. People ask me this every day, literally a million times. Does it have to go on those two spots? Nope. Any spot works. You can literally stick it right here all day and walk around. You can put it in the center of your forehead, the top of your big toe. It does not matter. It is working systemically to mobilize, activate, elevate your stem cells. They go to work in whatever order they need. So this is why I'm going to get into some of the supportive patches here in a little bit, because we cannot direct our stem cells where we want them to go. If you've got a shoulder that's messed up, I cannot guarantee you that your stem cells are going to go to work to repair that shoulder first. If you've got a bum knee, bone on bone, I hear that all the time. I can't tell you it's going to go and repair your knee first, right? I just can't. Your body knows what to do. And so it may say, this girl's liver needs a whole lot more work than that knee does. I'm going to take a while to fix that. And then it's going to go to your heart, or maybe it's going to go to your spleen. I don't know. That's why we talk about the supportive patches with this technology, to support the body in what is needed on that grocery list that you want to cross off, right? But know that if you just use X39, if you just use this patch, eventually everything will be crossed off your list. How many months or years will that take? I don't know. I have no idea, because I don't know what's going on inside of your body. You probably actually don't either. And we don't know what's going to be repaired first. But we do know, because this has been on the market for years, we do see that people cross all the things off their list from using this patch day after day, week after week, month after month. Another question I get asked daily: is this something I have to do for the rest of my life? Well, here's one response. If you went to the doctor right now and he said, oh my gosh, you're going to need a prescription for Lipitor. You're going to be on this for the rest of your life. And here's your 30-day supply. Go to CVS every 30 days and refill your prescription. It's not an option. You do it. If he said it for metformin or Ambien or Protonix or Xanax or gabapentin, whatever it was, you would go every single month and refill your prescription as long as he told you to, right? I'm not telling you that. I'm not that kind of person, but I'm saying that this does have a system to it. And our general rule of thumb is 1 month for every 10 years you are old. So if you're in your 40s, 4 months. If you're in your 50s, 5 months, 60, 6 months, 77 months, right? If you have something seriously going on with you, it's probably going to take longer for your body to repair. So this general rule of thumb is to get your body up to its full stem cell regeneration. So if you're in your 60s, you have less than 10%, probably going to take about 6 months to get your body up to that full regeneration level with your stem cells, to where they're really functioning, firing, wiring, working correctly, and really going to work to repair things in your body, right? We see that compound effect in our clinical studies. Like I said, every time you put the patch on, you're resetting a third of the genes back to their young, youthful state. Healthy state. We know that each gene expresses to 1 or 2 other genes all the time. And so that compound effect is why we see massive differences, especially at that 6-month mark and beyond with people. You see things really compound as the body is repairing itself on the inside. It's almost like, if you ever read Darren Hardy's Compound Effect, it's a fantastic book for health and life and business, relationships, everything. But he talks about really doing small things every single day. Don't make that big of a difference until you look about 18 months out. The people that made the choices with their diet and lifestyle, the people that made their choices in their habits in their business, the people that made the commitments daily in their relationships, you see the repercussions or the rewards about that 18 to 24 month mark. Now, obviously, we can see those repercussions or rewards with our technology pretty much faster than that, but you get the point with the compound effect really helping to exponentially improve your results. So you don't have to wear this every day for the rest of your life. We always say stop wearing it whenever you want to start aging again. This is age reversal. We know for a fact that your body's stem cells take old cells, old tissue, old organs, and they make them young, new, and youthful again when you're using the X39. We can see that in our clinical studies. One of my favorite studies is the one on the heart, the vascular system. We only have one heart, one vascular system. Heart disease is the #1 killer. We know that for a fact. And so we can see every 6 weeks that you use this patch, you're going to improve the functionality of your vascular system by 8 weeks, meaning it's functioning as if it were 8 weeks younger. Every 6 weeks, 8 weeks younger. That does not happen at week 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Nothing significant happened in the data with the participants until week 6. And then, of course, when you jump to week or 6 months in, we see massive, dramatic improvements in the reversal of the functionality, not only of the cardiovascular system, but of all your systems in your body. We can see that even years younger at that 6-month point. I know Laura had her biomarkers done when she was 1 year into using this technology. Laura's 60, her biomarker showed she was 40. That's 20 years younger for 1 year. You're either going to get 1 year older or you're going to get 20 years younger. Maybe not that many, but probably pretty close to it if you're using this technology, right? And so that's the beautiful thing about this, is that it is going to help to benefit every single thing in your body. But if you want to have things happen a little bit faster, if you want to use some of the supportive patches to get you there a little quicker, which of course we tend to be a microwave society and you want it now. I've gained 50 pounds. I need to lose 50 pounds in 30 days. That's unrealistic unless you're dead. So we're going to talk to you about how you can do that a little bit faster, but still in a safe, healthy, effective, way, right? And know that when you're using these patches, any of them, there are no side effects. There's no contraindications if you're using medications or supplements. You can do any of that right along with this. You have no problems there. Just know that it's only going to help or accentuate what you're currently doing. If you're doing different types of holistic treatments and therapies, I talk to a lot of chiropractors, a lot of Reiki practitioners and acupuncture doctors. And so this can only work synergistically and help you in your treatment, in your protocols and things that you're doing outside of what you're doing. If you're on medications, it's not going to interact because remember, there's non-transdermal. That's real simple. If your doctor has a question, just say, do you mind me using a non-transdermal patch? No, I don't mind you using non-transdermal. Nothing's going in your body. You're perfectly fine. Okay, good, great, check. I'm using this. So let's talk about real quickly here before I open you up for questions. Let's talk about the number 2 selling patch that LifeWave has. This was number 1 until X39 came along. The reason I always want to talk about Eon just as much as important as I do the X39 is because of the impact it has in your body and also what David teaches. And I think it's really important that we listen to that. He says it for a reason. Science is science. When we look at the biology and the chemical reactions inside of the body, there are processes that we definitely want to look at. And Eon is a patch that reduces inflammation. We know that inflammation is the root cause of disease when we look at the physical body. We can see that most people have inflammation in their body from their diet, from their lifestyle, from surgeries or accidents or injuries, and from stress. We know there's inflammation. Your doctor, if you go to your doctor and you've got all these problems and all these aches and pains and all these lists of things, he's going to tell you, you have inflammation in your body. We've got to reduce the inflammation. He's probably going to want to put you on an anti-inflammatory medication. That's going to be fun. Or you can use this patch here, Eon. It's a patch that signals a different peptide in the body, one in your liver, and it lowers the inflammatory markers in your body, like the C-reactive proteins and cytokines and fibrinogen and lipids and things like that. So it'll help lower those inflammatory markers in your body, which means it's going to help lower pain. It's going to help the body to repair itself faster when it's not fighting against all this inflammation. It also puts your body in a parasympathetic state. You're either fight or flight or rest and digest. Parasympathetic is rest and digest. So we want to get out of that sympathetic nervous system, that go, 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 stress, 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 nonstop. We want to help you get in that calm, rest, digest, relaxed place. If you're someone that can't shut your monkey mind off at night, then you can use this patch in the evening below your belly button. That's the triple warmer spot in traditional Chinese medicine. It's a great place to help calm and relax you. So this is where you would put Eon at night. You can also use it during the day. I've only ever used it during the day. I have zero monkey mind. When I put my head on the pillow, that's it. I'm done, I'm out, and I'm asleep in 2 seconds, and that's it. I don't wake up until the morning. But if you're not like that and you need help, this is not a sleep patch. We have silent nights for that, but this helps so many people get a good night's sleep. Not to mention, it helps so many people stop snoring, right? We've seen that countless times of men reducing their snoring dramatically from using the Eon, which makes everybody happier. And so this is a patch that you would use in conjunction with X39. You would use them both. You can use them both during the day, or you can use X39 during the day and Eon at night. It's totally up to you. Every patch has its own 12-hour window. So I put this on in the morning, take it off 12 hours later, throw it away, do the same thing the next day, right? If I take this off at, let's say I put this on at 6 a.m., I take it off at 6 p.m., then I can put this on at 6 p.m. and take it off at 6 a.m. Or you can put it on at 8 or 10 or take it off 10 the next morning, whatever. You have your own 12-hour window. You can do whatever works best for your schedule and your life. Why does David recommend these two together? The reason why is, say you have a shoulder injury. Okay, it's inflamed, it hurts, your range of motion is very limited. It's just, you know, it's been torn rotator cuff, whatever, I don't know. You've got issues with your shoulder. So you go and you spend $25,000 for a stem cell injection. Yeah, that's what it costs. Mexico, Panama, you know, Costa Rica, anywhere you want to go down south. It's going to be 25 grand, maybe 30, depending on the facility you go to, for a stem cell injection to repair your shoulder. Okay, fantastic. What happens? You inject 2 million stem cells into your shoulder. That area is inflamed. Inflammation is like a flame. Stem cells are like a moth. So the moth to the flame, right? And what happens is you inject 2 million, you end up with about 200,000 stem cells left. Do you want 200,000 working to repair your body, or do you want 2 million working to repair your body? That's why we reduce inflammation the same time that you're increasing your body's own stem cell production. You set the body up for a more rapid, dramatic repair and regeneration process when your body's stem cells don't have to fight against the inflammation or be consumed by the inflammation. It's just biology. That's all it is, right? This is science 101/101. I don't know. It's a lot, right? But know that these two, for every single thing on your list, no matter what symptom, syndrome, disease, disorder, whatever it is you have, this is always where I recommend that you start with these two. If you're saying I can only do one patch, then you're going to start with this one. You're just going to understand that you're not going to expect anything till 6 months. If you have some results before that, fantastic. But you're going to give it that time for your body to get up to that stem cell regeneration point, right? If you want it a little bit faster, if you want things to speed up a little bit, we're going to throw Eon in there with it, because that's going to get rid of that inflammation for you so your body can repair itself quicker. It's just the way it works inside of the body. So these two are what I call the dynamic duo. They're super simple and easy. Like I said, apply each one during the day, or one during the day, one at night. 12-hour window, take them off and throw them away and do it again the next day, the next day, and the next day, and the next week, right? And you'll watch your body change. You'll watch the things on this health tracker change from a scale of 1 to 10. If your pain is at a 10, you'll watch things decrease as the days and weeks and months go on, right? So with that, I'm going to see what questions you guys have, because I know we have a lot of them tonight, and I want to make sure that I can address all your questions. If you have anything, please type it in the chat. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. But remember, if you say a specific disease or disorder, I can't address that. I can only talk about the organ or the system in the body and how these patches impact that, because that's what our clinical studies were done on. Let's see. So a friend just found out that he has 4-centimeter aneurysm on his aorta. Are there any studies that show improvement for this condition? So as I just mentioned, we don't have any studies on any type of diseases or disorders. We only look at the systems in the body. For example, the vascular system, which are where your blood flows through, right? And so if we look at the vascular system, we can see really big improvements from the X39, like I mentioned. We can also see really great improvements from the Eon, because this fibrinogen that I mentioned is a blood clotting factor. Most people have thick, nasty, clotty blood because of their diet and lifestyle. It's just the way it is. And so fibrinogen is a direct link to heart disease. You can search that yourself. It's all over PubMed. I wouldn't worry about your cholesterol. Honestly, that's just a great way to prescribe you a pill for the rest of your life. They're not going to prescribe you anything for your fibrinogen. It doesn't work that way. But fibrinogen is an inflammatory marker that this patch lowers and puts into balance. And so when you do that, then obviously the blood's moving a lot better through the body. So I would definitely use these two. And honestly, I would look at 2 other patches. One being X49. We know it has massive improvements in the heart and the vascular system. We know that even just using these two alone in clinical studies, we can see the reduction in blood pressure in just a 60-day period, systolic and diastolic. And the other thing I would look at is carnosine. Carnosine is a big antioxidant our body makes but declines as we age. Carnosine is an antioxidant that works in a lot of things. So a lot of things you're going to ask me tonight, carnosine is going to be in it. But this works great in the heart. We can see, if you just look at, for example, clinical studies with carnosine itself, not our patches, but with just carnosine, you can see that carnosine clears clogged arteries. You just can. Look at the clinical studies, not with our patch, but just with carnosine as an antioxidant itself. You can see that carnosine removes aluminum from the brain from clinical studies. How many people have used aluminum pots and pans their entire life, or have used deodorant that has aluminum in it their entire life? Or how about those mercury fillings in your body that have all kinds of other toxins, or if you have caps, crowns that have all kinds of heavy metals in them, I'm sure aluminum's one of them, right? So not to mention aluminum cans and things like that, sodas and beers that people drink out of. So carnosine does a lot for the brain. It does a lot for the heart. It also does a lot for the muscles. Obviously, your heart is a muscle. So helping to build lean muscle mass. So if I'm looking at the vascular system, I would look at these patches. You can do whatever you want, but these are the 4 that directly impact the vascular system, and they all 4 do it in a different way. So I'm going to say that a lot probably tonight. Can the Eon be used during the day and at night? No. So there are no patches that are 24 hours. So the way this works is you only use the patch for 12 hours. The reason why is after 12 hours, our body needs a break. It needs a break. All right. It needs time to repair and regenerate. You can't keep signaling the same peptide over and over again. It's going to be like, yeah, been here, done that, not going to do it again. And also, just so you understand why this is not reusable, this lattice structure that's inside of this patch, it dissipates after about 12 or 14 hours. It starts to come apart. It's a solution of stereoisomers. Okay. These molecules that come together, they stay together when they're in the patch at all times. We have about an 18-month to 2-year shelf life on these patches. But when you put them on your body, our body's heat causes them to work, and so they start to dissipate after that time frame. So there's 2 reasons why you cannot use them for a 24-hour period. So if you have monkey mind at night, then you would use the Eon at night, and that's just real simple. And then during the day, you would use your X39. If you need something else to help with your mind, to help you calm for stress, anxiety, worry, fear, those kinds of things, you can use Nirvana. So you could use Eon at night before bedtime. You could use Nirvana during the day. Works totally different than Eon. It signals a peptide, totally different peptide. And it signals your body through the neural hormones and neurotransmitters in your brain to help relax you with like a calm, blissful state. So what we use for like really severe anxiety or depression, those type of mood balancing, mood enhancing. That's what this patch does to kind of keep you level and even keeled. So if you need something for 24 hours, you could use one day and one night. So, okay, so just how I mentioned, I can't talk directly about Parkinson's, can't talk about any diseases. So when you look at the brain, we look at neurological, and believe it or not, what we look at for the heart, we look at for the brain. And that's these 4 patches here: X39, Eon, carnosine, X49. So your heart and your brain, believe it or not, are completely connected. And so there are so many neurotransmitters in your gut, you'd be mind blown. You would think that those only should be in the brain, but they're in the gut. And so your heart brain connection is so strong. It's no wonder that these 4 patches directly impact both of those. So I would look at those for sure. And then I would also look at, honestly, glutathione. When we look at neurological conditions, like I mentioned earlier, just not our patches, but carnosine, we know detoxes heavy metal from the brain. When we look at neurological conditions, we look at heavy metal toxicities. We look at parasites in the body. We look at candida in the body. You have to look at what's causing this. Like you weren't born with Parkinson's, so it developed over time from the things you've been exposed to, your body's been exposed to, right? Or otherwise we'd all have Parkinson's, and we don't. So we have to look at how can I detox my body? And glutathione is a master antioxidant, master detoxer, master immune booster. It goes in a lot of our protocols that we recommend for people because of the impact that it has on your immune system. I'm sure you've heard of glutathione as far as IV pushes. Laura used to get those at the end of her vitamin drips treatments when she was curing herself naturally from stage 3 breast cancer 5 years ago, and glutathione suppositories every single night. That was fun, wasn't it, Laura? Winning. Right? But hey, it got you through. It got you through, so you didn't have to use anything else besides nutrition, vitamin therapy, and detoxification supplementation. So glutathione was a big part of that, but the glutathione in a push only has about a 23% increase of glutathione in your body, has about a 7-minute half-life. We know with the technology with this patch, not only does it increase your own glutathione level because it signals a peptide in your liver to do that, but it also sustains it for a 24-hour period. So that means it's going to help remove toxins from your body, boost your body's immune system, right? It's that master antioxidant. We know antioxidants go to work to chomp up free radicals, toxic things inside of our body. So that would also benefit you, of course, for sure, when you're looking at something neurological. Is it better to put the patch on the designated acupuncture points than just anywhere on the body? So here's the thing. In clinical studies, you have to have a set place for people to apply the patch. So it's a controlled situation, right? You can't be just like, oh, okay, stick it on your big toe, stick it on your forehead, stick it on your back, stick it on your belly, wherever you want, doesn't matter. Like, we need to have some kind of set guidelines to go by. Plus, also, when you look at traditional Chinese medicine, we know that there are very specific acupuncture points that impact those systems and organs in the body. And so the studies were done using those points. So when I look at, for example, carnosine, these are the points that are recommended for carnosine: center of the chest, back of the neck, the hand, low back, or inside of the wrist. Now, can you put carnosine just below your belly button? Sure. I did on my daughter for an entire year, and it still worked. But these points are the ones that were done in the studies and where they have seen that it has impacted those specific organs. Because when we look at carnosine, it impacts the organs. You can see clinical studies on the liver, the kidneys, the pancreas, the intestines with using carnosine. And so these spots impact those organs, those systems in the body. For example, when we look at people with blood sugar issue, believe it or not, carnosine to the win again. X39 Eon and carnosine are going to help with that blood sugar because this impacts the glycation process in the pancreas. It's an organ in your body, right? So you don't have to use these points, but every single patch comes with an instruction booklet that tells you the options. I recommend you use these options unless you have, say, for example, with the X39, you're like, well, my knee hurts, I want to put it on that. I hear this every day. Then fine, stick it on your knee. I'm not saying it's going to work to directly repair your knee. You can't do that. This is not a transdermal patch. Maybe it'll help your knee. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Maybe it's your mind, probably so. But know that wherever you put the patch, it's going to work systemically throughout your body. So those are great questions. Trust me, I hear them all the time. What do you recommend for severe, dry, itchy, burny eyes that presented after cataract surgery? Also, what do you recommend for red, chapped facial skin that appears when hot and stressed? So for your eyes, carnosine to the win again. X39 Eon eyes. X39 Eon and carnosine for eyes. Anything eyes, definitely the carnosine, X39 and Eon. When I look at the skin, I look at X39 and Eon because we know that your skin is based on what's going on the inside of your body. So the way you look on the outside, crepey, dry, crusty, wrinkled, whatever's going on, rashes, skin, stuff like that, it's a direct reflection of what's going on the inside of your body. And so we look at the Aloe Vita, which is a patch you only wear at night when we look at skin issues. We have an Aloe Vita trio. It has the day and the night cream. Highly recommend that you use the day cream and the night cream and use this patch every night. The reason why, this patch signals a peptide in your brain in the pineal gland, and it actually helps to reduce oxidative and inflammatory stress in the body. It directly impacts your skin by repairing the skin through that peptide. So I would definitely use Aloe Vita for your face. Definitely anything skin issues. Some of your patches fall off and they don't stick they don't stick back on. What can I do to keep them stuck? Well, you can put a Band-Aid over them, right? You can clean off your area of your skin, which I never personally do, but sometimes I feel like the other day I was at a patch party and I could not, I had the brand new patch. I stuck it right here. It was all I could do to get the patch off. And the guy's like, are you going to rip your skin? I'm like, God, I hope not. That thing is stuck and it's not going to move. But I would look at maybe wash off the lotion that's on your body. Maybe you have, oily skin or something like that. It's not common that the patch doesn't stick, but you can also always stick it on the inside of your shirt. If you want, just stick it inside there, still coming in contact with your body. It's still working, right? So it's still effective if it's on the inside, if it's not on your skin, but I would put a Band-Aid over it or clean your skin a little bit more. Why does it only work on third of stem cells, and what happens to the other 2/3? Oh, so here's the thing. That's a great question. So this patch signals that GHKCU, right, to elevate. That in turn will turn on those genes to turn them into a young, youthful, healthy state, right? So that is part of the process that it impacts a third of the genes. Each gene has a different number and letters to it. And from the studies, GHKCU only impacts a third of the genes. Okay, we can't make it impact more. That's just what that one peptide does. One of the genes that it impacts is the P63. That's what mobilizes our stem cells. So that's what activates them and elevates them, right? So we're resetting a third of the genes. The beautiful thing is, what about the other 2/3? Like I said earlier, each gene expresses to one or two other genes. We know that, that's science. And so when you reset a third of your genes, then over time, those young, youthful, healthy genes are expressing to other genes, young, youthful, healthy data. Hey, let's reset what's going on with you. That's kind of what happens as we see that compound effect from using the patch over and over, day after day, week after week, month after month, that they do start expressing. And so you can see people like Laura, for example, that's 60 years old and doesn't look a day over 40, right? That's what happens. Gloria, same thing. You see her face, she's 67. She looks like she's 40, maybe 30s, in her 30s, right? Because everything on her face is totally different from using this patch for 1 year, using these patches for 1 year, because of those genes expressing to other genes. We see the age reversal because of what's happening on the inside. We are reversing the functionality of the cells and tissues and organs in the body. Okay, we can't address diseases. Can you talk about transplanted organs in general and how the patches may or may not be recommended? So if you have a heart, kidney, liver, or lung that's in your body, that's not yours, it came from another human, it's transplanted in, you are on severe immunosuppressant drugs, lots of them, right? So your body doesn't reject that organ. We have not done any clinical studies on transplants with our stem cell activation patch. So David says, I wouldn't recommend it because I haven't done clinical studies and I don't know if your stem cells would try to fight against that organ. I don't want to risk it and try to study on people in that situation because that's a rare situation as it is. And so he recommends not using X39. As far as the other patches, you're free to use those. They have nothing to do with stem cells, obviously, so you can definitely use those other patches. I will tell you though, Laura, I remember one of the first Zooms we were on a year and a half ago when the lady had a kidney transplant. We about fell out of our chair. She was using it's not funny, but it was. She was using X39 for like 3 months. And she's like, oh my God, I've had the best results ever. And we're like, well, she's alive. So I guess it doesn't hurt you. So no one told her. She did not know that you weren't supposed to use it. But like I said, we don't have studies, so we can't really say, right? Okay, so if you're over 70, would enough stem cells be available for regeneration? Does anyone wear 2 of the same patch during the 12 hours for some reason? So those are great questions. So if you're over 70, you have no active stem cells. You got stem cells. They're just not working. They're dormant in your body. So this patch says, let's go, wake up, activate, elevate, mobilize. So you get your stem cells out there, but they are reset. Remember I said it resets a third of your genes from day 1. And so those stem cells that are going to work in your body are becoming young and youthful and healthy, just like they were when you were younger, right? And
Themselves.
so, oh, hang on, we got to mute and I can't.
Pop cake dig at Biden asked.
Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. So anyway, you guys, those stem cells are young and youthful. So when you're 70, you don't have any active. So we're going to reset your stem cells to their young, youthful state. We're going to activate them, mobilize them. We're going to get them out there and working, and you're going to turn back the clock. And so you'll actually, the longer you use this, you're going to see that age reversal. Usually it's about, we kind of hear every 6 months is 8 years younger. So 12 years or 12 months and you're 16 years younger. So use the patch for a year and you'll be in your 50s. That sounds amazing, right? I think that sounds pretty good. Use it for 2 years, you're going to be in your 30s. Sounds even better. So time's going to pass no matter what. You're either going to get older or younger. We're all getting younger. It's a personal choice what you decide you want to do. But could you need to wear 2 at the same time? You do not need to. David says they've got about a 30% increase if you use 2 patches. So when you look at the time, the increase, you're really not safe. You're actually, you're spending more money, obviously, and you're not really going to gain that much for it. So we don't recommend using 2 of the same patch for any reason, unless you have an acute injury. When my son was hit on the basketball court, fell down off of a chute, whatever, and sprained his ankle really bad, then I patched him. I patched 3 X39, 3 Eon, and 3 carnosine for 7 days. They said he wouldn't be off crutches for 2 weeks, and he was back on the court in 7 days. He was off crutches in 24 hours. So massive improvements. Now he has plenty of stem cells, right? He was 17 last year when that happened. So why would I use the patches on him? Because he has an acute injury. Want to hit that area, let's go. It's like when you get sick. It's crazy to me when people get sick and they're like, well, I'm eating soup or I'm eating oranges. I mean, you can't eat food if your body's in a situation where it's your immune system's so compromised that you're actually sick with something. You're going to have to use other nutrients to boost that up quickly. You can't expect your typical daily diet to do that, right? Whenever my family gets sick, I have this kind of protocol. I'm like, boom, we're going to hit the system with that. Not my immediate family. Brent's been sick, I think, once in the last 2-3 years. And then I'm talking about my extended family. They're always like, what do we use for this? What do you use for this? I'm like, oh, Lord. Work on your immune system every single day. It'll keep you where you won't get sick. What patch will help you clear stuffy nose? Look at that. Due to allergies or starting a cold. So I would definitely use X39, Eon, and glutathione for sure. Glutathione, absolutely. You've been using Silent Nights, Eon, Alavita, and carnosine at night for the past 6 days, but your insomnia has not improved. Well, it's been 6 days. That's why. So our clinical studies show that we see results in about 3 to 6 weeks, not days, 3 to 6 weeks. Okay. And so when you look at sleep, sometimes people sleep boom, a lot faster than that. But a lot of times it takes some time for the body to repair whatever's going on. I would look at your sleep habits. I would look at when do you turn off the phone or the iPad or the TV? Is it at least an hour before bedtime? When's the last time you ate? Have you given yourself a solid 3 to 4 hours to digest all of that food before you go to bed? Or are you someone that wants a snack right before you eat? Because if you're before bed, if you're eating before you go to bed, your body's in, I'm going to digest this food. It's working so hard. It can't rest, right? It's supposed to be resting and going to sleep at that time. And then I would look at your room. Is it cool? Is it dark? Do you have any light whatsoever? And then I would look at your electronics as well too. So I would definitely look at those and see what you can do to eliminate them from the room. So you don't have those in there causing any kind of problems that would keep you up at night. But I would definitely, honestly, I would use carnosine during the day. Sometimes carnosine keeps your mind going because it is a patch that works in the brain. And so people see that they may be resting, but their mind may be a little bit more busy, maybe even in dreams. So Silent Nights, Eon, Alavita, give it time, definitely. My niece has adult acne. What patches would you recommend? And do they work for someone in their 20s? So I would definitely use the Alavita trio. I would use the SP6 as well as the, of course, X39 and Eon. Should probably only need a month or 2 of the X39, Eon, and SP6. Alavita, I would stay with the day and night cream 100%. We've seen huge improvements in teenagers and young adults with their acne. Food environmental allergy, I get deep bone itch attacks, mainly at night, that keeps me up. So I would look at X39, Eon, glutathione. and possibly even carnosine, just because of those two big antioxidants to help to detox whatever's causing the food and environmental allergies in your life. And obviously with the food, I mean, and the environment, you can control your environment and the food that you eat. So I would definitely make some notes of those things that do cause you the allergies and eliminate them from your diet or from your life. Been on patches 6 days, feel terrible, could be detox reaction. So that's going to depend on your water, honestly. If you don't feel great patching, which is not normal, right? We always feel amazing, lots of energy, just, oh my God, I'm on top of the world. Look at your water intake. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your weight. It's 175, it's 180, 200, whatever it is, take your weight and divide it in half. So if you weigh, let's say 150, you need to be drinking at least 75 ounces of water a day. Pure, good, healthy, clean water, okay? If you weigh 200, that's 100 ounces. If you weigh 250, obviously you do the math, right? 125, look at a gallon. If you're consuming coffee, or sodas or alcohol, those things dehydrate you. And so if you're dehydrated, then you're not drinking enough water, your body's screaming on the inside. It's not going to be happy at you, period. So I would look at your alcohol or your caffeine intake and look to eliminate those things in your diet and add more fresh water. If you don't like the taste of water, then I would soak your water in fruit or herbs, mints, rosemary, lemon, lime, grapefruits, pineapple, strawberry, something. Get a gallon jug and soak it overnight in the refrigerator with that fresh fruit or herbs. And then that way you'll drink that throughout the day so you can stay hydrated. Put a little pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt in your water for electrolytes. Definitely, if you're not taking electrolytes, especially magnesium, you should be. Every single person on this planet is pretty much deficient in magnesium, which plays a massive role in your body. So David always talks about making sure that you have electrolytes, not from Gatorade. Gatorade is toxic. It's like an adult version of Kool-Aid, which is horrific for you. Red dye, blue dye, I mean, just name it. Lots of toxins there, lots of neurotoxins. And so you want to look at getting that stuff out of your body. But hydration will definitely help you so you feel better. What do you recommend for gut issues that got worse after a concussion? Food sensitivities, gluten allergies, leading to anxiety. X39 Eon, SP6, and glutathione. Recording, I will be uploading this to my YouTube channel, as I always do. Takes a little bit to convert it after I get off the Zoom, and then I will upload it to YouTube. So my YouTube is Dr Staci, Dr Staci. And all my recordings every week are there, so you can go and check them out. And they're always different. I think I say the same things as far as the science and tech, but the questions are always different every week. So I'm always saying something, to help somebody out. But if your sister-in-law had a lump removed from her breast and is now getting light chemo treatments, is there a patch she can wear after each treatment to help her recover? So when she's not getting the chemo, put the X39 on. Absolutely. Put the Eon, definitely. Put the glutathione on, the carnosine on. That's Laura. That's a carnosine and glutathione is what she used in her treatment, right? And definitely did everything to reduce the inflammation in her body. I mean, those 4 patches for sure. You have said that glutathione and carnosine are stimulated from the liver. Does that cause any kind of excessive stress in the liver? Okay, so here's what I want you to understand with that. So this technology works at the speed of light inside of your body. Things are happening, chemical reactions are happening constantly, nonstop inside of your body. This signals a peptide like that. That's it. Signals a peptide to activate or elevate whatever is in your body, right? So say, for example, with glutathione, signals a peptide in your liver to increase your glutathione level. Your glutathione level has decreased as you've aged. That's just part of aging. We want to help that glutathione level do what it did when you were a kid. That can in no way or at all put any stress on the liver. Actually, the opposite. When we look at liver and the functionality of the liver, and we look at how people have different types of issues with their liver, we can see that glutathione is a big, big proponent in helping the liver to repair. And so it definitely can never cause any kind of stress or harm. None of our patches can cause stress or harm on any organ or cell or tissue. They only bring things into balance and improve the functionality of them, reversing the age and the functionality of those cells and tissues and organs. Okay, so what is recommended for diverticulitis? So when again, that's a disease I can't speak to, but when I look at the intestinal tract, when I look at your digestive system, I look at X39 and Eon, and I also look at glutathione and SP6. Okay, Dr. Mel's on my team. She has a practice that is only focusing on the gut health, gut microbiome. This is the protocol she's recommended for the last almost year now that we've been working together. These are the patches. When you look at your gut health, you want to look at those 4 patches. And you can use, for example, you can use these 2 during the day. You only want to use SP6 during the day. You can use these 2 at night if that's easier for you, 2 day, 2 night. If you want to use all 4 of them during the day, Laura and I got started a year and a half ago. We slapped all 4 of these plus carnosine plus energy enhancer. We didn't have the X49 back then, but we used all of them all day. And then we took them off and we put Alavita on at night, right? Still do. Why? Because we're old and we look young and we feel young. That's why, because we have 0 issues. This is about prevention. It's about vitality and longevity and living your best life every single day. So, yes, you can use Eon or other patches with organ transplant. The replay's on my YouTube channel. You'll see that after I'm done. He will not go back into diapers. Clinical studies show age 25. So someone with RA markers after 1 month went up from 20 to 45, which is high. She also changed her diet the same month to stop all wheat, flour, cheese, and dairy. So you think it would be retracing and detoxing. So that's really difficult to say because who knows what's going on inside of her body. I can't speak directly to rheumatoid arthritis. I know that those are things that the symptoms of that April was suffering with whenever she found this technology. She was actually in a wheelchair, couldn't even walk down the aisle at her daughter's wedding, crippled up in pain, and should have been in the hospital. It was that bad. Like they were literally like, this is your last straw. And Linda sent her X39 and Eon a 7-day supply, and she was sleeping through the night out of pain and out of that wheelchair in 7 days. So I don't want to say that it's retracing or detoxing. Who knows what's going on inside of her body, but I would make sure she's drinking plenty of water based on her weight. I would ask about how much water she's consuming and also, what else she is drinking outside of that if she's getting any type of electrolytes. But I would not say that the patches would cause her levels to go up. I would say that's probably just what's going on in her body. Her body's and she may be in, your body goes into withdrawals. You took out cheese, dairy, milk, gluten, flour. You stopped all that in 1 month with somebody that has a lot of things going on inside of their body, which is a great thing because you definitely should eliminate gluten and dairy and sugar out of your diet. Absolutely. We know those are the 3 big issues in people's diets that people are addicted to. So that may have caused that, burst up, but definitely not the patches. Is nerve damage reversible by using the patches? Well, we can't say anything's reversible. That would say we would cure it, but we can see improvements in the nerves in using our patches. So I would use the X39 and Eon for sure. I would definitely look at that carnosine, and Ice Wave is fantastic. We see that. Dr. PV, the person that invited you, Tara, can look at the the Telegram channel. Dr. PV is a chiropractor of 40 plus years that focuses on neuropathy in his practice. And I interviewed him last year, and he had fantastic information about using the patches for people with neuropathy in his practice. So he can listen to that, and he can definitely reference those types of things, but I would use the patches for sure. Can't say it's going to fix it though. Okay. So 4-year-old snores a tad due to allergies at night. How can I use the patches? I would put the Eon below his little belly button at night. Can't say to recommend that for a child because we have no clinical studies on children, but my kids were the first 2 people I patched for sure. But that's a personal choice, just as it is a personal choice to take your child through McDonald's and get them a Happy Meal. Any info about vax injury relief in general? So the jab, let's just say the jab. Can't talk about any kind of vaccinations, right? So yes, tons, obviously, people that have had injury from their jabs. We see using the X39, Eon, carnosine, glutathione, and a lot of times energy enhancer. Energy enhancer turns over the lymphatic system faster, gets that stuff out of their body, but you definitely need to use the 2 patches with the big antioxidants that signal that in your body. Any idea how or why X39 and 49 were named as such? Of course. So X39 signals the peptide GHKCU that I mentioned. X49 signals the daughter peptide AHKCU. These 2 work synergistically, right? Very closely. David invented X49 to help with building lean muscle mass as we aged. What happened was he found from the clinical studies that when you combine X39 and 49, not only do they help build lean muscle mass, they reduce body fat by 11% in 60 days. They reduce systolic, diastolic blood pressure, and they actually stop bone loss and increase bone density. Not to mention what it does to repair the heart and the brain, and of course, block 5Gs. This forms a Faraday cage in your body. So there are a lot of benefits to these 2, but they do work independently, but this works nowhere near what it does when you use it with X39. And the clinical studies show that. Using them independently on the studies, when you put them together, it is astronomical difference. And we're a year out on this patch now. So David was I had a Zoom with him earlier, Laura and I did, for all the SPDs, and he was talking about the study again with this, showing 100% that we are stopping bone loss and improving bone density using these 2. And we know osteoporosis is rampant in this country for sure. So I have a friend who has central tremors and would love to help him before he goes under the knife. Ooh, with a remote stimulator. Yikes. Yeah, X39 Eon for sure. I'd also do the glutathione. Yep, definitely. Yeah, that would not be a good idea. Remote stimulator to stop your tremors. What patches for a long history of allergies? X39 Eon, glutathione, carnosine. Quick flashes of anger. I used to be lots more easygoing. I have been on X39 almost a year, plus lots of other patches. So I would say, so put in their Nirvana. Are you on Nirvana? Nirvana works with your neurotransmitters, neural hormones in your brain. Maybe see if that one doesn't help you out a little bit. And then what about for osteoarthritis? Oh, I just said that. So arthritis, when you look at arthritis, X39 Eon, glutathione for sure. When we look at the aches and pains in the joints, that kind of thing, glutathione coats those joints. And obviously X49 would be very beneficial. So we can't talk directly about cancers at all, but how many patches can you use on your body? As many as you want. You can use all the different patches during the day and different patches that you want at night, but I would definitely use the X39 Eon, carnosine, glutathione, like I mentioned with Laura, with her breast cancer treatment that she did all naturally using supplements. She used carnosine and glutathione, so I would definitely use those. Father will be 88 in February, giving him X39, 49. He has psoriasis. What would be good to add to this protocol? Are we talking about psoriasis of the liver? Or are we talking about psoriasis on the skin? So that would be my question. Skin's aloe vera, liver is going to be glutathione. Actually, glutathione will benefit in both cases. Aloe vera definitely for anything skin, rashes, blisters. Yep. If you're sick, like the COVID, X39, Eon, glutathione, carnosine, energy enhancer is going to turn over the lymphatic system, get that stuff out of your body. Do the patches help with emotional trauma, such as severe bullying in middle school for a young woman now in her 20s? X39, Eon, Nirvana? Absolutely. Yep. How do you clear the lymphatic system? Energy enhancer. Swollen lymph nodes, energy enhancer. What's the white area of the patch that works? It's not sticky area. So if it falls off and doesn't stick, I can stick it back with a Band-Aid. Yes. The white area is still sticky. This white part is in between 2 polymer film stick. So one side sticky and one's not. So the white part is still sticky because it's the white patch is embedded inside of that, but you can put it on with a Band-Aid. Yes. And for pets, you definitely can use the patches on the pets. Absolutely. Wear it yourself for 12 hours, take it off, put it on the pet. Perfectly fine. Collar, bed, whatever. And then energy enhancer for lymph drainage. So when you look at the energy enhancer, it depends on where that lymph is, right? But these are the different spots that are recommended for the energy enhancer. So you would want to pick one of these, either the chest. You can see it's a 2-patch system. One tan is one right, one tan and one white. Right is white, tan is left. You can do inside of wrist, right below knee, inside of ankle, or on top of the wrist. So you pick your spot, but I would definitely use the energy enhancer to turn over your lymphatic system. That's what it does. So yes, yes, X39 is going to help with someone from their back surgery. Absolutely. So if you guys have any other questions, I want you to get back with the person that invited you. They can help you with your questions. We are all connected to somebody that's been using this technology for quite some time now. And so we'll be able to help you get those questions answered that are best going to meet your needs. They can also talk to you about the different ways to be able to purchase the patches, so that way you can get the best price for the different patches that you want to use inside of a pack. So thank you all for being on here tonight. I'll get this uploaded so you guys can see that recording. I will see you on the Patching Podcast. Have a great evening.